Everyone I've met in the construction industry tells me one of the biggest problems they face is getting great people to join their team. They tell me there just aren't enough qualified people in the labor pool. You're in competition with all the other construction folks for good people, and finding the right person to join your team is really hard. What if I told you there's a simple system that will help you get the right person the first time, every time? I bet you would have a hard time believing that. It was true for me. For the first 5 years in business, we were lucky if we got a good person. About two-thirds of the people we hired would wash out for one reason or another. And then I found this hiring system that was like magic. When we used it, we went from being right about a higher 35% of the time to being right over 85% of the time. Now, just think about that for a second. If you could take your success rate from 35 or 40%, which is about what most companies get, and bring it up to 85%, what would that mean for you? Think of what it did for our company. We spent way less time training, our turnover went down, and the amount of money we had to spend to train people became minimal. You see, most of the time you hire from the gut. You like the person, they listen well to your stories, and they seem like they could fit in. The problem with this is it was just a feeling. You never wrote down what you were looking for, which makes it almost impossible to get the right person that will be a great addition to your team. The challenge is using this system will take some work and discipline. No one likes systems, and you'll have to be very tough in making sure you and your team use this one if you want to get the results I've been talking about. So here's how it works. We call it the stage 2 hiring process, and there are 3 parts to it. You start off with the technical skills that you need. We call this the can-do part of the job. You write down no more than 5 skills a person will need to be successful in the job. Now, this is just a screening part of the thing. If they don't have the technical skills you need, or at least be okay at the technical skills you need, you're probably not going to be able to hire them. If you need an accountant, they have to know how to do accounting. If you're hiring a programmer, they need to know how to program. If you're hiring a mechanic, they need to know how to fix stuff. But once you get past that, it goes down in importance by a huge level. So here's what's number 2. Next, we look at things we call the will-do factors. These are the things they will have to be willing to do their job well. Let's say you're hiring a salesperson, and your sales process requires them to call people they don't know, which is called cold calling. Now, if they're not willing to do the cold calling that's necessary, that salesperson is not going to be successful in the job. So I don't care what you do. If they're not willing to do cold calling, and they have to do cold calling, and you find out through the interview process by using open-ended questions where they tell you stories about whether they did this will do stuff or not, is really, really important. Because the fact is, if you're not willing to do the activities to be successful in a particular job, you're not going to be successful in that job. Then finally, we get to the fit factors. These fit factors will be the same for everyone in your company, and this is the most important part of the hiring process. If you don't pay attention to this and make it the most important part of your hiring process, you'll never get the people you want for your company. So by fit factors, what we're really talking about is values. So before you can do the fit factor, what are the 5 fit factors, the 3 fit factors, the 4 fit factors, you need to know what your values are for your company, and you need to write a clarifying statement around this. Now, I've done lots of videos on how to do this. Just search for values and you'll find the video. Now, I hope by now you're asking yourself whether this system is for you. If you want to start getting the right person the first time around, here's what I want you to do. Start off with talking about your core values and making sure you know what your core values are for your company. And this is important, write a clarifying statement about each of them. So here's an example of how this might work. One of my core values is simplification. Now, if I just say to you, my core value is simplification, you're going to say, okay, and you'll have this idea about what simplification means in your brain, but it may not be the same thing that I'm talking about. So when I say my core value, one of my core values is simplification, My clarifying statement is we take the complicated and we make it simple. Now you know what I'm talking about. And it's the same thing when you're hiring. When you are doing this, you have to use open-ended questions to find out whether the person you're talking with will support the values that are really important. Number two, when you write your job ad, make sure you focus on values and not technical skills. Too often I see jobs where there's a laundry list of the things they have to do, and you never get around to talking about what makes your company unique or why somebody might want to join you. Understand we are in a very, very, very competitive process for getting the right people to come to work for us. If you're not writing about what makes your company unique and why somebody might want to join you, why would you think you're going to get the right people to even apply? And then finally, use the stage two hiring process as you do your interviews and make sure you ask open ended questions where the person's going to interview and you will have to tell you stories. Don't talk to them about what's important in the company. Don't talk to them about your benefits. Don't talk to them about your salary until you've gone through the process. You say, this might be somebody I want to have join my team. First, get them to tell you about them. Have them tell you stories. Tell me about a time where X happened, or tell me about a time where you had a challenge with this, or tell me about a time where you did something really well. Listen to the stories, see if you're getting the will do factors out there willing to do the job, and see if they have the sort of answers that are supporting what you think is important in your company. So if you do the things I'm suggesting here, you'll go from occasionally getting the right person to getting the right person almost every time you have to hire. You'll be more satisfied and you'll have a better team to work with. So how does that sound? So I would love to have a conversation with you about how to become a hiring ninja. So feel free contacting me at jpatrick at stage2planning.com, that's the number 2, to set up a time to talk. In the meantime, if you're not ready to talk, download our free ebook on strategic hiring. It's a full step-by-step explanation of how to use the Stage 2 hiring system. And while you're at it, scroll down and let me know what you think about becoming systematic and how you bring people into your company. Hey, this is Josh Patrick. You're at The Sustainable Business. Thanks a lot for stopping by. I hope to see you back here really soon.